Hey Joanna, thank you so much for buying the camera. In this first part of the video, I'm gonna go over all of the different buttons on your camera and the basic functionality. And in the second part of the video, I'm gonna go over how to load film, unload film, and take your pictures. Um, I'm not gonna lie, this is like my fifth take trying to record this first part because of some iPhone technical difficulties. So I really hope this one comes out, and I'm gonna do my best to explain everything to you. Okay? So you just undo the Velcro case, pull out your camera, and I just finished cleaning the whole camera, and I cleaned the lenses, so everything should be perfect when it gets to you. Um, on the front of the camera, this is uh, well, where the lens is. There's your flash. This, this, and this are all part of your autofocus. That is the viewfinder that you look through when you take your pictures. This right here is a little grip you can put your hand on to grab the camera a little better. Up top, this is where all of the controls for your camera are. So let's start with the on and off switch. Turn it on, slide it to the right, the lens will pop out, the LED screen will turn on, and now your camera's on. This little date button right here, this is if you want to put a date imprint on your pictures. So there's a couple different settings. To change the settings, you just push in the date button, and here's the first setting. Now I already set the camera date to today's date, and I set the time to the current time right now. I'm not really sure how it's going to be when it gets to you. If it's still on this date, um, I can make another recording for you, and I'll show you how to adjust the settings. But I set it to today's date and the current time right now. In this first setting of the date, it's the month, day, year. If you push it again, it's the day, month, year. Push it one more time. Okay, it's the day and the time. I think I actually missed a little setting, but you can scroll through and you can look through all of them. When you see the dotted lines, that means there's no date imprint on the frame. Okay, this first button on the left, this is your flash control. Now, if you don't press any of these buttons, the camera has a super good automatic mode, so you don't really have to play with these buttons, but there's some stuff on here, maybe the self timer you might want to use. But we're going to start with this flash button. So if you push it one time, that little flash icon is going to show up. And that flash icon means that the camera flash will fire every time you press the picture and you take the shot. If you want to turn off your flash, let's say you're shooting indoors and you don't want the flash to go off. One example, I go to the art museum here on Oahu kind of a lot, and you actually can't shoot flash in there. So whenever I bring cameras in, I have to make sure the flash is off. The flash off, and there's a little moon. That means it's on night mode flash off, but you really don't need to use night mode because, like I said, the camera does automatic exposure for you. If we press it again, that's flash on for night mode, and same thing. You don't have to do this because the camera will automatically go into night mode if it's dark outside. If you press it one more time, now we're going to switch into the B setting, which is B stands for bulb. Now, I don't think you're going to be shooting long exposures, but if you really wanted to, you could put this guy on a tripod or put it on a table, and you would hold the shutter button, and as long as you're pressing it, that's how long the camera's going to stay open and the light's going to come in on your film. So really, you only use long exposures if you're taking pictures on a tripod late at night or you're doing astrophotography, and I don't think this is the best option for astro, so you really don't need the bulb setting. If you press it one more time, that's the flash with the bulb setting, and I definitely do not recommend doing that, because doing this will keep the flash on, and that's going to just drain your battery super quick. So stay away from that setting, okay? Um, Next is this little eyeball. The eyeball is red eye reduction, and I really don't use this on my personal point and shoot, but if you want to make sure that if you're in a restaurant or you're taking pictures of your friends at night and you don't want that little red glare reflection coming off of their eyes, all you do is press the button and the little eyeball will show up, and that's going to reduce the flash so that when it takes the picture, there shouldn't be that much light bouncing off of their eyes, causing that red glow around the eye. It's really scary, but I mean, I've been shooting point and shoots for a long time, and I never really had that problem. But if you want to be extra safe, you can always press that button. Okay, next one is your self timer. So if you press this, you're going to see a little clock icon come up. And what happens is, when you press the shutter, I think you have right around 8 seconds to get into the frame and it'll take the picture. So let's do a little situation. Let's say you're at a party and you want to take a group picture with everybody. You would put the camera down on a tripod or maybe on a table. You would hold the shutter down to focus, and don't worry, we're going to go into focusing and taking pictures in the second video, but you would hold this down to focus, and then boom, you press the button, run over to your friends, and you're going to see this little clock count down. Like I said, I think it's 8 seconds, and then we'll hear the camera, boom, it just took the picture. That's really good if you want to take pictures of groups, or I don't know if you want to do self-portraits with this thing, but you definitely could. To turn it off, you just press it one more time, and the self-timer's off. This last button on the right, this is for your autofocus modes. Now, Pentax, this camera brand, they have really good autofocusing system in there, so it should be able to detect if you're taking a picture far away or if you're taking a portrait of somebody. But, you know, let's say you want to be super sure that the landscape comes out perfect. You would push the autofocus button and you're going to see the little mountain icon, and that means the camera is going to be focusing on stuff that's real far away, and it's not going to focus on stuff close to you. If we press it again, that's the spot focus. That means when you look through the viewfinder, it's going to focus on whatever is directly in the center of the viewfinder. You really don't need that. Like I said, the autofocus on Pentax cameras are really solid, so it normally catches the autofocus super good. We'll turn this setting off. This little notch right here, this is called a diopter, and a diopter adjusts the viewing inside of the viewfinder for people with glasses. But really, if you have your glasses on, or if you wear contacts, or I'm not blessed to not have to wear glasses, but if you have perfect vision, you really don't have to play with this. And I always leave the diopter right in the middle, so that that means it's neutral, so it's not going to adjust it positively or negatively. Okay, let's turn the camera off. All right, so on the back of the camera, this is your viewfinder window right there. That's where you look through, and I'm going to try my best to try and align this so you can see kind of in it. There's little, yeah, it's not really coming out, but there's little lines right there. That's kind of to help you frame your subject. And as long as you take the picture inside of the black border, when you look inside of it, I'm going to try again one more time to see if maybe I can get the full screen in there. Yeah, that's not happening. Sorry. As long as you take the picture inside of that little black border around the edges, everything in the frame should come out. These two buttons are your autofocus check and your flash check, and we're going to cover that in the second video. We'll turn the camera back on. This single tree button is to zoom in, so this guy zooms pretty far. Look, I can't even get it in the frame. So you can get really up close if you're far away. And let's say that's a little too close. You just press the 3 tree icon and the camera will zoom back out. Now the camera is, the way that Pentax made the camera, whenever you turn the camera on or off, it'll be at the widest setting. So anytime you want to zoom in, you just zoom and you go back. Now let's say we're super zoomed in and we turn the camera off, it'll just completely retract for you. This right here, this is a film window. So when you put your roll of film in, you can look in the window and you can see, okay, I'm shooting Portra 400, I'm shooting Ultramax 400, I'm shooting Superior 400. You can see a little window in there, and you can see if your roll is a 36 or 24 shot, because some camera companies still make a 24 roll film pack. On this side of the camera, this is how we open the film back and close it. We're going to get to that in the second video. But the last part of this first video that I want to show you is how to put the battery in and take it out. So, to take the battery out, you put your thumb on this little groove right there, push it out, you lift it up, and you can just flip the battery out. Now this camera takes a Duracell CR2 battery. I normally buy mine at Best Buy or at the Film Lab, but I'm not too sure if all Best Buys carry it, and there's a lot of times when they're sold out. So if you're ever cruising with Malia, maybe you could ask Malia to go and pick up some CR2 batteries for you from the Film Lab that she develops at, or you can always order these online too. I bought you 2 to start out, so you shouldn't need a new battery for a little while. To put the battery back into the camera, you can see there's a little chart right there. You put the positive side up, slide it in, and then all you're going to do is close this and slide it back. And that is how you secure the battery. Now, one quick note before I end this first video. If you're not going to shoot the camera for over a month, take the battery out and just put it on the side. I had a camera that was real similar to this. It was a little bit older model, and I left the battery in there for, shucks, maybe 3 months without touching it, and actually that drained the battery. So if you want to get the most out of your battery, just take the battery out whenever you're not going to use the camera for over a month. Let's say, you go out, you bring it with you, you take pictures of your friends at a party, and then the week later you go out to dinner, you want to take more pictures, that's fine, you can leave it in. But if the camera's just going to be sitting, that's when you want to take it out. Alright, that's the end of the first video. See you in the next one.